Jack, and that's my story and many others. 9/11 woke many people up. In this last generation, there was a great evil, a very organized, wicked evil out there that was capable of bringing the people to war with each other over a lie and to convince people of a silly thing. You know, just buildings falling down in on themselves, planes hitting them, no air defense. This is normal. This is normal. Yes, this is normal. And here we are today, though, I believe, on the spiritual mission to kind of help people get out of the fight, as they want to bring us up to this in-game scenario and play out the book of Revelations the way they want to. I think we're trying to, Jack, pull people out of the fire, and I hope that that's what people watching this show do with this information, that are overwhelmed by this and afraid, that they instead are filled with passion and fire, good anger at the Anunnaki, that they want to pull their fellow brethren, their fellow sisters out of the fire, out of the wars, out of the divisions, out of the fake right-left paradigms, and truly into a consciousness of love.
Well, and you know, I'm optimistic and very pleased that there are people like you now and many others who are beginning to recognize this fact that there is an evil power that is controlling us, and it's not Satan of the Bible. But the interesting thing to me about that is that, like you said, mankind recognized that at least as far back as Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson wrote about it. Yet, we've never been able to overcome all of the deception about religion, government, secret societies, that sort of thing, to ever focus on that and see what is really going on and see can we do something about it. But we've recognized that it is there now for a good number of years.
You know, this whole life thing may also be a test in creation. I'm starting to think, if we have what made us comfortable for so long removed from us, in a way we're forced to create something out of that nothingness. And they say that all matter begins with thought. Well, say the future, the rest of our lives, a new beginning, not an end of the world, has to begin with thought, with consciousness, with that spark. So we've got to start that spark. We've got to get that fire going in the minds of men to build a new world without a new world order. And it all is very possible if we organize with people that are of a similar understanding. And there's many people in the city, Jack, that are of a similar understanding, which reminds me, I know you're interested in coming to Portland. There are people that do catch a show every week, and I want you to mention a little of some of the things that you might talk about, or some of the things that could be accomplished if you came to Portland, if we generated enough support.
I would love to come to Portland, and I would be willing to talk about any aspect of the book or any aspect of the Anunnaki that I'm aware of. I'm extremely interested in doing something that in the book I call the Grandest Rebellion, which is really just getting a group of people together to focus on the Anunnaki, what they're doing, trying to gather as much evidence as we can, and then putting our heads together and seeing if we can come up with a game plan to compete with them.
Absolutely.
And so
I want some of the people listening, and I
meeting with anybody anywhere in this world if we can put some like-minded people together to focus on those topics.
Right. And for those watching, we obviously are going to need a venue for such a grand speech and lecture discussion. And of course, like minds meeting like minds, which is the most beautiful thing. When I saw David Icke speak in Bellingham, Washington last year, the best part of it was the conversations with people that came from all over the world to see this very unique individual. The cool thing about if you come to the Jack Pruitt event is most of these people are actually going to be living in Portland, Oregon. And so certainly, folks, get outside the box. Get away from the TV set, engage in life. Remember to share this information with others. Remember, you can find the others, and there's all different types of meetup groups that take place in the city. You know, there are some groups that used to get together in the past that talked about similar subjects. But whether I'm organizing it or others, it certainly is something that can be done. Are you planning on doing any other traveling, Jack, around the country?
Well, I would certainly like to. Again, it's a matter of generating interest, getting enough people together to understand the truth. You know, I guess in my wildest dreams, I would like for groups from all over the world to come to Portland and us fill up the biggest convention hall y'all got over there and talk about this stuff.
Well, let's try to make that happen, and let's give you some good luck to getting on Coast to Coast. Let's everybody can practice some creative visualization here and see Dr. Jack Pruitt on Coast to Coast AM with George Noory. So we'll just put that out there to the universe. But it certainly is an era of time, Jack, where people are discussing such things. There's an old friend of mine, his name is Clyde Lewis, and you know, I remember going out to eat with him after doing shows on Access TV here. I remember listening to him when I was 23. He was one of my inspirations to come in and doing a show on Access TV. He never gave up during his most challenging moments, during his most darkest days, having been fired from multiple radio stations simply because they were going through a format change. In the era of radio today, it's harder and harder to get a job, especially when you're the chupacabra, alien, you know, ghost guy, you know, demonology guy, and with a little bit of info in the New World Order all mixed together. A very interesting blend of information. Now, there are all these people crying about media censorship and how they're taking this video down and taking that video down, but you also, this guy's now Monday through Friday, 9 to midnight. And although we may agree to disagree on certain subjects, I'm still aware in my mind that there are people that are thinking about things that they have never thought about before or heard about before simply because of one guy on the radio. So through one program or one film or one book, you know, ideas blossom into larger ideas and more complex ideas. And it's also been said that this is how through dictatorships throughout the past, when something couldn't be directly said, it was said through art. It was said through analogies. It was said through parables. So truth, to one degree or another, has always existed throughout time, and we can always count on that innate human knowing that does seem to know a certain innate right versus wrong. There are some sheeple that voluntarily stay in the collective Chuck E. Cheese balls, plastic balls of life, going into the meat grinder, but there are many others that are certainly cognitively flipping on.
Well, you mentioned George Noory, and of course he reaches a tremendously large audience. I did send George an email and ask him if I could send him a book. I'll make a plea: if anybody in the audience has an in with
right.
Noory, then I would love to get a word in with him, because he does reach a large audience.
And again, people can go, hey, it's Clear Channel. But then again, it's like, it's still something where the market, in one degree or another, sometimes does decide what's on the radio. If people voice their opinions, that they want to hear someone on the radio, a certain guest, sometimes that has an impact. And I guess I'm bringing this full circle, Jack Pruitt, because we are at the aftermath of this whole fake rapture thing. And so we have way too many people focused on the end of the world right now instead of beginning a new world without a new world order. Now, there's some things that are...
Time is rather short. I think this new world order could come into being if something's not done fairly quickly.
Right.
Certainly within the next 90 years at the most, and I fear it'll be much sooner than that.
And we have a situation with China that I believe is coming. New World Order using Chinese peacekeepers one day to police America on their own soil after they screw us. There have been deals going on with China for years. China was brought up to play this role, clearly. The UN one-child policy, that's resulting in 20 to 30 million more men than women. One day they're going to want wives. This whole social experiment with China is a complete disaster, but it's all part of the New World Order's master plan. I just hope, Jack, to help more people unplug, and just through the good deeds that I'm doing, you know, I kind of do have a faith in a higher power, a deity, whether you call it God or whatnot, a supreme consciousness above these false gods that are helping some of us out along the way. I think, isn't it important to have faith in that regard instead of someone that promises us fake change and counterfeit bills like Osama bin Laden, bin Bama, bin Bush, and all these fake villains and fake heroes? Shouldn't we start believing in the ultimate consciousness, that godlike energy within?
I absolutely agree with you, and I certainly am not an atheist, and I believe that there is a supreme being, entity, consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. And so I talk a lot in my book about religion and how harmful that is to us. That does not mean that I don't believe in that there is a supreme being, consciousness, entity.
Right. You're just going, wait a minute.
We need that entity's help. So we need to learn to plug into that.
You're just going, hey, wait a minute. What kind of God tells a few people they're the chosen ones and then punishes them for years and years, saying, do this and maybe I'll give you something, but doesn't, all the while promising them a lollipop that doesn't exist? And so we're just raising questions, folks, as to what is truly the work of the Almighty. Jack, I want to thank you for coming on. I wish you luck getting on Coast to Coast, and I encourage people to email me after the show if they have an interest in bringing you to town, and perhaps we can talk more about this down the road.
Very good, Alex. Look forward to it, and I hope to get to see you in Portland soon.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to let you go now. And back to the audience, folks. Give me an email. Give me a phone call. Contact me in some way if you'd like to see Jack come to Portland. Of course, we clearly need a venue. That's my cell phone. That's my email. That's my mailing address. That's right. I have a mailing address, P.O. Box 12743, Portland, Oregon 97212. By the way, we're also going back to Thursdays coming up in August. I do need a hard drive. I think I'm working out the computer aspect. But there are some other goals for the show that resources can help with in terms of getting my internet connection set up at my location, which is just outside Portland. Come to Portland on the weekends, and I go home just outside Portland so I can hear my own thoughts. The city is becoming more zombie-like by the day. I got to protect the old Gulliver. I want to thank you for watching. YouTube.com/AlexAnsary is the YouTube channel. We can watch old shows, share shows with family members. There's also some other stuff that I've done in the past that has been put on Google, but now has been taken down because Google has flushed their video section. So hopefully in the coming years, rather the coming year, we'll have a best of DVD set. All the more reason we have to stay on top of our game and, of course, get the information out while we have all the tools to do it. You see, the danger in believing the end is around the corner, the end of the world, which is not what I've ever talked about, just the end of this way of living and the need to be prepared, need to come together because they're staging some crazy stuff on us humans. It's not the same thing as the end of the world. It just means we're in some serious doo-doo, and we have to be on our toes, on our game. We have to be on it, like driving in crazy traffic. That's the point, not to be afraid, but to be in love. And of course, help your fellow brothers and sisters. After all, who else is going to help them with the mainstream media mind controlling so many people at once on this planet that we choose to call Earth? I want to thank you for watching. We're going to leave you tonight. Until next week, I'm Alex Ansary, reminding you the path to the ultimate truth still stays and lies in one place. And of course, we're going to leave it at that. No fancy dance, disco music tonight. You'll just have to hum and play some classical and maybe a little violin for all those people that still believe in the fake left-right paradigm. Here we go, the world's smallest violin for all those that don't want to believe the ultimate truth about what's really going on, that all this is by design and we only have ourselves, that's right, only ourselves to look towards for hope, for salvation, and for real, genuine, true spiritual change. Have a good night. Have a great week.